ASM artist. Today we're looking at the book Justice League 100 Greatest Moments. For me, I'm not a huge Justice League reader. I'm really just mainly into Batman and Superman. And I haven't really ever picked up too many Justice League books. But I thought that this would just be a fun little thing to go through with you all. It's filled with snapshots from every decade here. So, no matter what your taste or preference is, I think that there's something in here you'll enjoy. Right here, you can see how the book is set up. It's split up into like different categories. The first is membership, then headquarters, the aliens, the occult, the allies, the enemies, their greatest battles, team rosters, and I'm not sure what the world's needs heroes is about. But for me, it's kind of set up a little weird. I think that they should have done it by decades or something and had it focus on battles, because as you'll see when I go through it here, this is really just going to be like a brief overview. I thought this was cool. This is what a letter you would get when you're inducted into the Justice League would look like. They would put your name here and here. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then there's always like a blurb before the chapter begins, and then there's kind of set up, you know, the meat of the book, I guess. And then from there it goes into actual numbered. But yeah, as I was going through it, like it just seems, especially initially, it's like the initial members and stuff, but it's kind of dry. It's like, hey, remember when we had a Martian Manhunter and Hawkman join? Like, okay, like that's a moment, but I don't know if that's a big enough moment that it should be on a countdown. I would have preferred, and when I picked this up, I didn't see the insides. So I thought it was all going to be like battles and stuff. Not split up into, you know, like I said, where it's like, hey, these are the good guys, these are bad guys. But some of them are moments like this is the reforming of the team here. Some John Byrne artwork. And I mean, this is nostalgic for me. A classic Kevin Maguire image here. I wish I had that comic. I do love his style. I love the expressions he puts on people's faces. It's like, to me, it's when you would like freeze a movie you're watching at like just the wrong moment, and you get like a very human face instead of, you know, your standard polished look. I think the glare's getting to this, but yeah, here's some of the more modern stuff here. And it's just the time period everyone likes to forget. The electric blue Superman and the hook-hand Aquaman. There's some Brian Hitch art. This is when Nightwing joined the team, I believe. But yeah, it encapsulates every bit of the history. So here we can see this is whenever there were like some moments where they kind of let each other down. We see them crying here. This is the issue, and this is where this was written way later. But this is when Superman died, how Wonder Woman and Batman responded to it. Because that is not something they originally touched on in the moment when it happened. And then this was an iteration where the Suicide Squad had joined the Justice League to help them. And of course, the main reason for that was them trying to, I think that was around whenever the movie was released, but I could be wrong. But either way, it just seemed very shoehorned to me, and I didn't care for that. There's some more classic stuff here. But yeah, like I said, I would have liked to have seen more battles in this book. And then it talks about the different base of operations they've had. Always the iconic round table here. I know in Young Justice they met at a hollowed out Justice League headquarters and they spray painted over it. And Red Tornado was still in there and pretty much chaperoned them through the series. And I remember this book, The Nail for Justice League. It was kind of like a prestige format book. But I never got to read it, but I am familiar with it. And then they're touching on some Grant Morrison and Brad Meltzer moments here. Satellite base here. So, the aliens. So you get to see some creativity shine through here. Here's the Antimatter Man. And I don't know who that is. What is this one? Eplexians. I know, there's a few of them I've seen. I'm not familiar with most of these guys though. Bith. Don't know that guy. Shape-changing menace. Despero. I haven't even read Jim Lee's Justice League stuff, which is crazy because it's Jim Lee. Why wouldn't I have read it? But I don't know. It's weird. I definitely have a strict comic regimen, you know, and I just don't want to fall too deep down the rabbit hole and overbuy a bunch of books. Now I do know Starro here. But there's a Marvel character. He's like a pink starfish. And I always wonder which one came first. But I don't know. I'm sure an easy Google check would, the occult is the next part, would, satisfy my curiosity, but it's not something I know off the top of my head. So this is the occult, right? Yes. Putting here. Occult champions. I always liked the Spectre, but I didn't know much about him. I think at one point Hal Jordan actually became the Spectre, but I'm not 100%. And I believe that's Dr. Fate there. I just thought he was a really cool looking guy, but I don't know much about these guys. John Romita. I don't know why Superman is sideways like that. I get that's just to display his power. But it looks funny to me. It's Uncle Sam there. Crisis on Earth X. You're gonna put a swastika on a book now. I remember even, I think it was back in 2000 or thereabouts, they had that in a Captain America book. Inside the book, the villain had a swastika, but on the cover they had like hate written on Captain America's shield instead of the swastika that was spray painted on by the hate monger inside the book. Here's a appropriate Thanksgiving image here. The JSA sitting down to eat with the JLA. Which woman here? Giant team. Now I love New Frontier and I want to do a reading of that on this channel at some point. Darwin Cook was definitely a great talent, and it's a shame that he didn't last longer, you know. I think he had more stories he wanted to create for sure. Teen Titans there. I got a big bunch of Teen Titan books from the library too, but there's no way I can go through all of them on the channel here, unless I do like a brief overview video. Which chapters is this? Is the enemies. Lobo, of course. I do think that this would be a better book too. Now, Identity Crisis I did read this. And it was a very surprising book. I remember, I don't know if they're going to show it here, but Green Arrow like jabs him in the eye with his arrow. That was a memorable moment for sure. But I do recommend that event. That was interesting. And I mean, I guess some people didn't care for it, but I thought it was pretty good. And once again, we're talking about more. There was a lot of big moments, I guess, contained within the Identity Crisis book. It was trying to be something big, so they got Brad Meltzer to write it. And I do like his writing, so. And I want to check out Grant Morrison's Justice League stuff for sure. I always hear about the Rock of Ages storyline. But once I acquire it, I'm sure I'll do a reading maybe. I hear a lot of good things about that story. Let's see. I thought that was Dick Grayson looked like that recently. I wasn't sure if that was him or not. It is not. Rajal Ghul. Royal Flush Gang. I know about them from Batman Beyond. It seems like this area has more action than the original part of the book, though, for sure. But here's a moment a villain was actually the Joker in disguise. Atlantis battles. I think this is the main thing I wanted out of this book. So we see, of course, the Kingdom Come storyline. It's remarkable, and I want to do a reading of that for sure at some point on the channel. It's this one, Throne of Atlantis. This is a more recent story by Jeff Jones, but I haven't read that. From what I hear, I believe Jeff Jones's Aquaman will be huge inspiration for the movie that's coming out. What's the next one here? The White Martians. I think this is a recent arc too. Oh, I guess it's not. It seemed like it was though. By Grant Morrison as well. The next one here is Doomsday. Yes, I remember that they did help him, but the roster at the time was really weird, like not your standard Justice League for sure. And I remember everyone just got their butts handed to him. If I remember, Booster Gold gets his head slammed in a door or something insane. And then I just thought it was weird that like these guys were there at the scene of his death, and I had literally no point of reference for them. I was like, who are these guys? Granted, I was 7 at the time. But I know Booster Gold and I think Maxima is in green there. It might even say. And of course Guy Gardner. But I had no clue about those guys. And he was kind of a mystery himself in the book at the time, I believe. He had shown up just a little bit prior to the event. It says, so I guess this was Martian Manhunter. So yeah. Next one here is the Mageddon. I have not heard of that at all. I guess a more recent run, but as by Grant Morrison and Howard Porter, it looks like. So I haven't even heard of that one at all. Then we have the Anti-Monitor. I have seen that image, but that's about all I have seen really. But it's a classic. Marv Wolfman wrote it. George Perez and Jerry Ordway did the work, the artwork for it. Syndicate of America. It's in 2000. Frank Quietly did the art there. Justice League 23. I think this was around the I'm trying to remember the name of the event at the time when this happened, but I'm drawing a blank right now. I think it was No Justice, or I can't remember. And then we have Darkseid. Of course, you gotta have Darkseid on the list. I'm surprised that. Oh, I guess was he sitting in the chair here? The Mobius chair. Batman is a god now. So the Darkseid war, I guess, is pretty huge. I haven't read that though. But a lot of insane things were supposed to have happened in that. So, checking out here for sure. Lots of big battle scenes here, for sure. This is Baby Darkseid here, I believe. Or something, I'm not sure. Oh, Darkseid's soul is in that infant, so here's your team rosters. So this is like a full breakdown of everyone here. There's some more. Like I said, I'm not going into detail, but if you're interested in the Justice League and all that, definitely recommend you to give it a look, or if nothing else, check it out from your library. Alright, well that's gonna do it for now. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, check out the bull number 1 on Indiegogo. Link is below, just $5. You'll have a good day or night. Thanks.